The best salespeople in the world are the ones who do it without you even noticing. Everyone's a salesperson, especially if you're an entrepreneur. In the I'm Not Salesy podcast, join me, Cassie McKenzie, and my fabulous guests as we dive into the top strategies, mindset, and energetics around sales and money so that you can hear more, yes, I'm in, instead of crickets or getting ghosted. So if you're ready to fully book out your programs with aligned AF clients and have people chasing you down in your inbox, asking how to work with you, then subscribe to this podcast today and become not salesy too. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the I'm Not Salesy podcast. And I have such a fun guest today. And this is great for you because I know I talk a lot about not just landing a sale and like getting leads and getting new customers in, but creating a very loyal following, almost like a movement, and having clients that want to keep signing on with you and buying from you over and over and over again, because it takes a whole lot less money and energy to retain and sell to a current client than it does to find new leads and work through the relationship process and get them to the point where they're ready to buy, the majority of them anyways, right? So today, okay, Steve, tell me how to say your last name. My guest's name, Steve, is it Buzogany?
Yeah, nailed
Oh
it.
my God, I did great. I should have just gone with my intuition. Okay. So, as you know, I'm filter free here on the I'm Not Salesy podcast. But as your host here, it's great to show you the real behind the scenes, right? So okay, so Steve is so much fun. So Steve's a lifetime entrepreneur, and he's the founder of the Appreciation Advocate, which is a company that uses gift giving to generate more referrals for small businesses. So if your love language is gift giving, he is your man. And he made his business debut in real estate, selling nearly $100 million worth of real estate, which is amazing. And he's become a master of relationships and well known for leaving a unique and lasting positive impression on people. So I am really excited to talk to you about this, Steve, because what led you to, are you still in real estate or have
Yeah.
you left that? Okay, yeah. So
Yeah, I still do it a little bit.
where do you live currently? Because it didn't
I'm
say.
in Philadelphia.
Oh, cool. I love Philadelphia. I'm so
Yes.
sorry about the Super Bowl. I was really
Yeah,
rooting
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
I was actually just
We're
hoping we
heartbroken
didn't have
still.
another freaking Super Bowl having to hear about Patrick Mahomes. Sorry to all you Kansas City people out there, but
I mean,
seriously.
it's just the next version of Tom Brady. That's all.
Ugh, ew,
So,
no way. I live in Tampa Bay, and on Tom Brady Day, it is like a holiday, which is Sunday during football season, right?
oh, okay. Yeah, Tampa
Not
Bay.
anymore anyway. So, okay. Well, that's amazing. And tell me how you got started with this and what was your inspiration for, bringing on this entrepreneurial journey?
For sure. For me, I think it was I actually initially studied accounting in college, and that was what I was shooting for, and because that was the safe job that everybody told me to get. So I went and did that, and
Yeah.
I got a couple. I did this thing called a co-op program where they
Oh,
basically allow you to do internships while you're still in school, so you kind of get less real life
right.
experience, and then basically set yourself up for a job once you graduate, which was awesome. But
Where'd you
the
go to
only
school? Sorry to
uh,
interrupt.
no, St. Joe's University.
Oh, okay. I went to Virginia Tech. There's a lot of
Nice,
funny people there. So, okay,
nice.
continue. Please continue.
Okay, no problem. So basically what happened was I got into I did a couple of internships and I absolutely hated them. And I was like, I can't do this for my whole life. I'm a numbers guy, but I can't do numbers 9 to 5 for 30 years. And
Yeah,
that's not a shot at anybody who can. That's just not my personality. So,
right.
but the only problem was I had just finished junior year. I only got one more year left. I'm like, I can't start over at this point. So like, what am I supposed to do? I need a career that does not require a whole lot of prerequisites and I can still make a nice income for myself. And then I found real estate,
Yeah.
did all that and did really well with it and got the rookie of the year, all that fun crap that they tell you.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and that just kind of what took off from there. And then the way Appreciation Advocate got started, that got started was because I so to kind of go hand in hand with your podcast here, like the I'm Not Salesy podcast. So
Uh,
I myself am not very salesy. I don't like to call people out of the blue and just be like, so you know anyone buying a house or anything like that? Like
Yeah.
I can't ask people that. So what I would do is I'd send them gifts to kind of like break the ice
Yeah.
beforehand, and I could call them up and then say, hey, I just, obviously, we've known each other for a while. I would just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you, and I sent you a gift, so I just want to make sure you got it.
Yeah.
And it was just something as simple as that. And they were like, oh my God, yeah, this was so nice of you, Steve. It was like out of the blue, totally didn't expect it. This is so nice. Blah, blah, blah. And now, of course, they know I'm in real estate. So they would inevitably ask, how's business or how's the market? So like that would apply to anybody who's in like the financial services world or anything like that, or anybody who's a
Yeah.
small business owner at all. They would always, you can expect that question, how's the market or how's the
Yeah.
business? So that's your organic door open right there, where now you can talk
Mhm.
business and not be salesy. So that was
Right.
basically what I did. And that was how I started building relationships. Because then I could talk about real estate and get after it organically without being a totally salesy a-hole.
Yeah. So I have a question around that. Now, why is it customary? Okay, we sold a house a year ago, actually almost to the date. It was February 13th. We owned a house in St. Augustine, Florida, and bought it in 2017. So we sold it a year ago and made basically what we put into it.
Okay.
And so we sold it for twice what we bought it for.
Nice.
And but my real estate agent created a buyer's gift, but didn't come to the table with a seller's gift. And while I know I'm walking away with a big paycheck, I'm also the one that gave her the listing. And I know that listings create the leverage where they bring you more buyers and more hot leads. And I was like,
Wow.
I could have chosen a lot of people. And yet, like, you didn't get me a gift for choosing you to list my house. Like, that rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, that wasn't just it, right? That wasn't like the
I'm
only thing, but like, because there was like a couple of other things along the process because we were like balls to the wall, getting everything looking perfect. Like probably like the perfect listing people, because like it was a shit show when our renter moved out and it was like amazing. We put like 5 days worth of work into it and
But you
got it
take
all
care of
turned
it.
around. Like it went from like, hey, I think I want to list this to ready to list in about a week. And we have two kids, and my husband had COVID. It's like we were, and so there was like a lot of things that happened
Jesus.
along the way. So I was like, and so she asked for a referral afterwards, and I was like, I just ignored the message, but I probably would have written one if I felt like I was treated a little bit more like special. You know what I mean? Now, we don't live in that area anymore, but I could, suggest her, and I'm in sales, you know what I mean? Like I'm a pretty forgiving person and I know that like I know what it takes to sell, but why is it customary to do a buyer's gift but not a seller's gift?
Well, it's actually not customary to
Mhm.
give a gift at all, typically.
Yeah.
And I'm making fun of realtors here because I am one, so I'm allowed to take shots. So the stereotypical real estate gift is a bottle of champagne at settlement for the buyer, which
Yeah.
is also a crap gift as well, because and there are three major gift giving problems, and I do public speaking as well. So some of the talks I do, one of the talks I do is actually called um, how to stop unintentionally poisoning your best relationships. Now, that realtor that you just told me that story, that was an unintentional poisoning of a good relationship. And now
Yeah.
she thinks she's doing her job, doing a great job, and that's awesome. The only problem is she was poisoning the actual relationship that started the whole transaction to begin with. And I was just like, I don't, for the people who can't see the visual here, I'm sitting here with my mouth open while the whole time he's telling me the story. Like, I cannot believe that the agent who represented you got the buyer a gift and not you. Like, you're
Yeah.
the one who signed the listing up.
With her.
I'm like appalled. Like I
Yeah.
could not, so, but I'm not trying to talk bad on her. I just that is so the problem with that is when we're younger, it's almost
Yeah.
like financial education. Like, it's not a common practice. You're either born into a family that's going to teach you how to manage money, or you're not. And and that you're basically, it's the luck of the draw. Someone's going to, or you have to have the desire within you to go out and learn it. And that's
Right.
basically the whole
That would have
process
been
of,
me.
yeah.
Mhm.
And the process of gift giving is the same. You're either born into a family that instinctually is good at it, or you're not, and you have to go out and learn how to do it. The only problem is with a lot of things is that a lot of people teaching gift giving are actually not really all that good at it either. There's only
Yeah.
like two or three people in the entire world that I know of that would actually teach it right. So like, and the problem, the big three, the problems with gift giving is that like the most people who do client appreciate, like, do you mind me asking, what did that agent give the buyer? Was it?
It was like a pretty cool gift basket full of like it was almost like very customary personalized gifts that,
Let me
you
guess,
know, like
lotions, candles,
like
towels.
golf things for, I mean, I've seen ones that she's posted on Instagram that she's given to like her
Yeah,
buyers that
they
she's
look
bought.
nice. They look nice, but they're completely useless. Like the lotions and the candles and the soaps and made from some obscure root from the middle of the Amazon. Yeah, like something like so,
Yeah.
so stuff like that. Like those are gifts that look visually appealing. They look
Mhm.
fantastic. Except they're not usable really for most people. Like when I get that kind of stuff, I usually just kind of toss it. It's not.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'll talk about the three big problems real quick for you. So the first big
Yeah.
problem is that most gifts actually only make one impression. And now, as a marketing expert, my job is to stay top of mind. You can't stay top of mind with one impression. That's the
Right.
first problem with the gift. So when I give a stereotypical bottle of champagne, or you take people to an event or to dinner or to lunch or out to a coffee, that is only one impression. So whatever you spend on the coffee with that person, or the multi-$100 bill you might have dropped for the dinner, or
Mhm.
even if you took someone to the Super Bowl, like
Yeah.
that's all one impression. So
Right.
that's no good. The second thing, that one impression is usually neutral or negative. So if it's neutral, whatever, they're indifferent. They're not going to take action on that. If it's negative, they're going to take action in a way that doesn't benefit you. So, one-off lazy gifts like gift cards, or just a flat out bad gift that, has nothing, like something that, I don't even like to cook. And if somebody got me a bunch of different stuff for cooking, I'd be like,
Yeah.
why are you giving me this? like,
Yeah,
like, so like,
like a barbecue seasoning kit.
right. Like that's fine if you're good at barbecue, but if the person doesn't, you just got it because you thought it looked cool on the shelf at the store and you just
Yeah.
snagged it, that's no good either. So the neutral or negative impression doesn't do anything for producing referrals and repeat business as well. And the third big problem, this is probably the biggest one, is that people lie about their real feelings regarding the gift. So like no one ever tells you that your gift sucks. That just out of curiosity, out of courtesy, they're not going to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, Cassie, thanks so much for the gift. By the way, it sucks. You can go home and shove this up your, you know what." Like
Right.
no one's gonna say that to you. So they're gonna
Yeah.
the bad gifts get the same feedback that only the good gifts should get, and that is
Yeah.
what keeps the death cycle of gift giving continues. Because then you get, oh my God, you shouldn't have. Thank you so much, and you walk away thinking, oh my God, I'm so great. I did such a good job. Meanwhile, they turn around and gift it to somebody else, or
Right. It
they
goes to the
toss it.
shelf that gets given to the
Yeah,
teacher.
they toss it, or it goes to Goodwill or whatever it is, like a stupid
Yeah.
T-shirt with your own logo on it, like that kind of stuff. That is what those are the three big problems. So when people can correct those and avoid those problems, that's where you start building the referrals and making the focus about the client instead of you. Like, don't put your own branding on things. I know every marketing person listening to the
Yeah.
podcast is going to be like, their eyes probably twitching right now that you can't put your logo on things.
Recently, yeah. So, what is that guy? Russell Brunson. Okay. So if
Oh,
you're,
he's awesome.
yeah, and he talks about building your own movement and building like your own kind of cult
Yes.
following, right? And
Yep.
so what I've seen happen is a couple of coaches, like what's common in the coaching industry is for people to then create like their movement, like whatever that is, and then put it on shirts and give a free shirt to the people who join their membership. This happened recently to me. And then they're like, everybody put your shirt on and let's take a picture. And so like 50% of the people who don't know what's happening are like, oh, sure, I know I'm here to learn from you to build my business and to build my own movement, but let me put your branding on and then put it on my social media. So you're like a walking advertisement for someone else while you are trying to make a name for yourself. And I
Yes.
refuse. I'm like, that shit goes right in the drawer or right to Goodwill or whatever. But
Yeah, I
I
am.
might wear it on like my private time, but like I'm
If I
not
got
going to
nothing
sit
else.
there and do your branding if I'm here learning about, you know what I mean? So think about that, business coaches and sales coaches out there. Now,
Yes.
if you are a healer or some other business and you're not like trying to do the same thing that your coach is doing, then, or that your clients are doing, then by all means, I think that might be appropriate or might work for you. But like,
It depends on the
yeah,
brand. Like
yeah,
for example, like if you get someone a custom Gucci bag, Gucci's a powerful brand. You see that on
I
there. That's
wouldn't,
like,
I'd be like, guess who
you know,
gave this to me?
Yeah, everybody's gonna know. Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna know who got you the Gucci bag or the Christian Louboutin shoes or whatever. Like it's gonna be,
Yeah.
oh, there's those red bottoms. Guess who got me these? Like, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, your realtor got you those. They're like, damn, you got a realtor you got.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but like that, like this. So to kind of counteract the three problems we just talked about, those, and since we're talking about like giving good gifts right now, those six qualities are: you want to have the focus on the recipient, not you, because that's what
Mhm.
separates a gift from a promotion, because promotions are
True.
about the giver and receivers, the gift is about the receiver. Obviously the gifts have to be high quality. They don't have to be Gucci bags or Christian Louboutin shoes, but they could be uh anything that's not like a tchotchke or something you would get at a
Right.
conference. They
Yeah.
obviously personalize them
Another
if you can.
canvas tote bag.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's just more like a trash bag
Yeah.
to me. So personalized, if you can, deep emotional impact. Obviously, if you know a lot about the person, play the heartstrings. If you can, that puts you ahead of the game. Has staying power, things that stay around the house. Like when I would gift my clients, I wouldn't get them a bottle of champagne at settlement. I would get them a custom watercolor painting of their house that they can hang up. And that
Yeah.
would stay in the house, and people would come in and be like, "Oh my God, it's a really cool picture of your house. Who gave you that? Realtor gave me it."
Mhm.
Or a really cool custom cutting board. Again, the cutting board wouldn't have my logo. It would be like their monogram of their last name with the address of the house on it and the date they bought the house. And it was this beautiful piece of wood. And they
Yeah.
actually 95% of the time, the client would say, Steve, I love this cutting board. The only one problem is I'm never going to use it. It's so beautiful. I want to hang it up. I'm not going to cut on anything on this. I don't want to
Yeah.
disturb this at all. So it actually became a piece of decor rather than an actual cutting board, because it was that
Yeah.
nice. But it was all less than like, $50, $100. It was never that expensive considering I just sold them a house that landed me a 4 or 5 figure check. I
Yeah.
think, 50 to $100 is not really all that much, but you know
No,
what I mean?
it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's
It
not the
really is. Well,
gift.
That's the
Yeah.
impression thing, which is, and it's not just making one impression. Every time they walk by that, they're going to see that. Every time a friend or family member comes in, they're going to see that and they're going to bring me up. I'm going to get brought up all the time. So my marketing for $100 is going way farther than your $250 dinner that you just took everybody to. That's going to
Right.
be, or the Super Bowl that you spent $10,000 on, or whatever else
Yeah.
event it is. So,
You know,
um,
now that you say that, one of my friends down the street, she has in her house like this super cute little, because we live in St. Pete Beach, Florida. And
nice
so she's got like, it's got like the latitude and longitude and kind of like a map on a like
piece
a
of
wood
acrylic.
thing. Yeah, like one of those ones that's like, hey, well, here's our home kind of thing. And it was
Yeah,
her realtor gave her that. And
nice.
so, and it was like a conversation piece. I was like, oh my God, Karen, that's so cool. Where'd you find that? Because, obviously we live in the same town. I mean, and how brilliant is that? Because you've got people coming over who live in your same town who are like, oh, my realtor gave me that. It's like, oh my goodness. That's
Yeah,
so like next level genius.
yeah, I mean anything. We call it attacking the kitchen at Appreciation Advocate, where we call it attacking the kitchen because people spend the most time there. So if
Yeah.
I can fill up their kitchen with stuff that's actually
Yeah.
usable and high quality, then every time anytime they touch anything, they're going to think of me. Like a lot of people don't have ice cream scoopers, a lot of people don't have pizza cutters, a lot of people don't have um, a really nice pair of scissors. Like you can go to Cutco and get some really nice stuff that'll
Yeah.
last, and it's engraved.
Yeah, like lemon squeezers too. Like we always need one of those.
Yeah,
And
anything.
like at the beach, beach chairs are such a great, cool, fun thing too that would, that we pull out all the time and use.
That would be cool. Like if for you and your, like for me in Philadelphia real estate market, like that's not gonna be, beach chairs are not really a thing here. Like just,
Yeah.
we're just kind of stoops and
Right.
condo high rises. But
Yeah.
we're like we would do like for you in the Florida though,
Mm.
at the beach, like if I was a realtor down there, I would be thinking, how do I get custom beach chairs made with the client's names engraved on them?
Yeah.
Like that's like any
Totally.
kind of like that would be super cool. Like some kind of polywood too. If you, I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably expensive, but I would come up with something. I'd be like, there's got to be something I can do that every time they go to the beach, they're gonna think of me.
So, what do you suggest for people who are like online service entrepreneurs, like, or if they're, we have like fitness coaches, so people from the coaching industry, plus, like if you're web designers or copywriters or brand people or marketing people
Yeah.
or anybody that's offering some sort of service online.
Yeah, for sure. So one, I would first say if everybody's package is exactly the same, like because like in most businesses, there's a top 20% that pays for the 80% of the income. focus
Yeah.
on them. That's where I'd spend the time. That's where you should be investing the money that because those people have bought into you the hardest. They have the most likelihood to refer you. So that's where you
Mhm.
spend those times. Invest more gifts, more time, more effort into those people. If all of your clients, again, that's assuming that that was if they don't, or if all clients are not equal. Like if you have a top 20% that maybe pays more than everybody else, those are the
Right.
people you focus on. If everybody is the same, like everybody's worth $20, then I would cycle gifts every like quarter. Like okay, I'm gonna hit this 100 this quarter, and then I'm gonna hit this 100, and you just every quarter you just change the 100,
Yeah.
and you just give back in some way, and just
Yeah.
because the gratitude, expression of gratitude is what's going to make you bajillions of dollars, because everybody loves to be thanked and shown appreciation. But nobody really knows how to say that. Like nobody walks around saying, "Oh my God, I wish I could just get a thank you from somebody." Like they're like, they're more
Some
like,
people
"Wow."
do, moms do, I tell you
Well, of
what.
course, yeah, moms do. That's different.
Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck do I have to do to get somebody to appreciate me?
Right, exactly. So that's another thing. So you can get that in and have people, when you do show appreciation, you show up in an uncommon way, and that makes you stand out. And
Mhm.
believe, I mean, just saying thank you is considered
Yeah.
an extraordinary common trait, or an extraordinary trait today. So
Yeah.
just that will make you quote unquote extraordinary just to say
Yeah.
thank you.
Isn't it crazy?
I know you believe that, cannot believe that, but that is the truth.
I know. I have a pharmaceutical sales background. And so when I was in pharma sales,
Nice.
I joined like at the tail end of like the hottest point when you could like, take people anywhere and bring,
Yep. That's what my wife
before the
does.
Sunshine Act went in. Oh, she does? But who's she work for?
She used to be with GSK, then she moved to a company called Insight, and then she is with
Yeah.
Merck.
Merck, yeah. Okay. I was with J&J and then I worked at Sanofi for a while and then a couple other companies too, but I haven't for like about we have young kids, so ever since they were born that's what I came out and became a sales coach. So
Cool.
you know, but it was so nice. Like we used to have these amazing little like coffee tumblers that said our product's name on the outside and the pens. When the day that we couldn't give pens away, it was like God was taking away Jesus. Like seriously, the nurses were like, "Don't you have the pens? But what about the pens? Like we can't give a fucking pen out. Like it's like $1." But yeah,
Yeah.
like the bad apples spoiled the bunch there, but I can't
Yeah.
tell you how, like, that's how I looked at it too, though, because I was like, how do I get my product to get sold without me having to be there 24/7? And having those little reminders that anytime somebody reaches for something often throughout the day, if they're going to wherever they're going to the same place, that's to me where you want your gift to originate from, And so and I
Yes.
like I loved I loved the fact that like everything was red everywhere in the offices because I had basically gone and dropped a bomb everywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was all your branding, all your marketing, but like not really. The
Yeah.
cool thing, like the a mentor of mine, a guy named John Rulin,
Hmm.
he basically said that you want to show up for people for common people in uncommon ways.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really a good piece of advice. So based on what you're saying there, that's just being there and showing up in an uncommon way that keeps you top of mind.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with you though. Like I think that's a really great point for where people can start with to look at like who's that like highest value buyer that you have and how can you create this reminder that's going to speak for itself. Like I've seen some coaches give flowers, but to me, like I don't personally like getting flowers because flowers die and then I
It's on
don't
my
have
bad
to
gift list,
care.
actually.
Like wait,
We we
what?
we have a bad gift list, and
Yeah.
flowers are on them
Yeah,
because they only do last about a week and then they die. So
right.
yeah,
Exactly.
they're on the bad gift list.
Hmm. But then I saw another coach, like when she would sign one-on-one clients, she would get them, oh gosh, I forget what the brand is, but it's like something like Gucci or like one of those brands, but she got them like a wallet, and
That's
it's
cool.
something you pull out all the time. That I think it was like around $500, but that's nothing if somebody's paying you 21,000 for six
Of-
months,
Correct. So yeah, and so actually on that note, a good way to determine a budget for what you're spending on people, it's always around 5 to 10% of whatever they're worth.
Okay.
In terms of that's a good budget, but like don't forget, it's not always about what the client is worth financially. Sometimes it's people who have just bought the hardest and the heaviest into you, like the emotional value, the emotional investment. If you are able to determine that, like I have clients of mine in real estate who had bought $300,000 houses, but they love me way more than some of the $1 million clients I have. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I know you're only worth financially, you were a $6,000 transaction, and $1 million client is worth about $20,000 to $25,000. I'm probably still going to, well, I'm certainly going to keep the $300,000 buyer in my top A
Yeah.
plus ranking because they love me. So so financially, I'm going to invest in them, of course, but just because it's not solely based on financial income. That's all I'm saying
Yeah.
is so if you can just, I guess, identify that top 20% financially helps, of course. Obviously you can get bigger things and more things for the people who pay you the most. But if there's an emotional buy-in too, those are the people
Mhm.
that I think, because remember, at the end of the day, people buy emotionally and justify logically. So if they
Well,
make a
yeah.
big
And
emotional
like,
commitment,
if you want
return
to
it.
go back to the example I told you earlier with my real estate agent, yeah, our house sold for like 310 in North Florida. So it was in just like on the border of Jacksonville and St. Augustine. But like, and so I actually said that to my husband. I was like, compared to the $1 million deals they're doing in Ponte Vedra right now, we are a very low priority to her. But what she doesn't get is that I am like, if I'm your fan, I'm going to sell for you. And like,
Same.
I will sell you before me because I believe in you and I think you're going to give amazing service. But if you borderline treat me like shit along the way and don't realize that, then I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to say anything for you to you, or what, or you know what I mean? Like for you on your behalf.
Yeah.
And like, in this case, we had actually used her as our realtor when we listed our house to rent back when she was like nobody. It's like she was working for like just basically hustling for rentals. And then I think in the 3 years there, now she, and the market was like exploding. So she was doing super, super well. Don't get me wrong, like I think she's a great person in turn, but I think there's a lot to learn there. And maybe it was there's some lessons that maybe somebody else is teaching her because I don't live there anymore. But like that was an opportunity where we had not only like used her once, but already used her twice. And yet you're treating us like you know what I mean? Like we don't
Yeah.
matter when that $300,000 deal, I think it was like 315, that could have turned into a few $1 million. I mean, I'm a pharmaceutical rep in Jacksonville. I've got a lot of connections all over the city, not to mention referral deals down here in St. Petersburg for people moving up that way, which there were several. And so, you got to look at the bigger picture there, like not just what is on paper in front of you, but like I
Yep.
agree with Steve here where, you've got to look at the bigger picture and what's that lifetime value of the client to you.
Yeah. Well, you got to treat everybody like as if they are. So the way I used to do this when I was doing more active real estate stuff is I looked at every client as if they were worth 200 people. So
Yeah.
I'm not behaving for just this one person. I'm behaving for 200 people because that's
Mhm.
what I think the average network of a person is like something like they're like their immediate network, not like their
Mhm.
entire sphere of influence. I think their immediate network is like 180 or something like that, or something, or two. I don't know.
Mhm.
I forget the number, but it's in the hundreds or low hundreds. So it's like,
Yeah.
you're talking to basically 150 to 300 people every time you engage with one person. So it's like,
Mhm.
you better put on a freaking good face.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I want to be their real estate agent for life. I wanted to be. I don't want to just. There's a Brian Buffini talks about like being relational versus transactional,
Yeah.
and
Oh
like
my God, I say
yeah,
that. Who
yeah.
else is saying that out there?
Brian Buffini is the guy who actually taught me how to do real estate. So
Oh,
he's super good at that. I mean, he's a great coach too. So,
yeah.
but he basically taught that to me, and I was just like, that makes so much sense. So the realtor you told me, the story you told us, it was just like, it sounds like it was just like, hey, get a transaction, find them, fleece them, forget them, move on.
Yeah.
And that's transactional, and relational
Yeah.
doesn't do that because relational people don't. Uh, you're stuck. Like I tell every client at settlement, it's like, hey, just so you know, I come with the house. Like you're stuck with me. Like I'm not going anywhere. And anytime you need something, let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to be. Yeah, because I believe 100% the same way, especially in the online space, because and when you look at lead generation in the online space, how a lot of it can look very transactional, like the cold DMs and send out like 100 and 200 and 300
Yeah.
messages that are all copy and pasted, like, versus spending a little extra time trying to figure out something about that person that you can connect with, and when people start to feel like, my point of view is when people buy in a transactional way, then they're going to leave you quickly. They're more likely to leave you quickly because they're looking for like a quick fix. And then if people are buying through the relationship, then it's more likely to turn into a long-term thing where it's not just one purchase from you, it could be a lifetime of purchases from you, and that emotional connection where you not just have rapport, but you understand and they're comfortable with telling you what's going on, because there's so many different types of buyers out there. Some will lay it all out on the table right there, and others are going to like keep their emotions tight to their vest because they don't want to hurt you. But if you've created that space where it can be open and they can tell you like what's going on, like the shit's hitting the fan or everything's perfect and cool, like you want to have that open communication. And if you're treating your buyers transactionally, they're never going to open up to you because they just see you as another 7-Eleven they're passing on the street.
Yeah. And that doesn't do any good, because you're actually, at the end of the year, you're just going to have to redo you're starting your whole career over every year at the beginning of every January 1st. It's not
Yeah.
like there's no compound effect taking place, which obviously
No.
those who understand it, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever the quote is,
Yeah.
those who understand it earn it, those who don't pay it.
Yeah. That's a good one. I had not heard that one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
I love it.
Ben Franklin. I think it's Ben Franklin, or is it Albert Einstein? I can't remember which one it is.
Either one, they were very powerful Illuminati, and I support their message.
Yes, both of them were both extremely illuminated for sure.
Oh my God. Well, this has been so much fun. Now, Steve, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on now, like how can I support you here in your journey? Because I fully believe that this is the way to go. It's so in alignment with what I preach here.
Sure. I mean, you guys could send me an email anytime. It's steve@appreciationadvocate.com, or, or you could just follow the Instagram accounts. That's the appreciation advocate, or here's a real hard one for my Philadelphia real estate agent stuff. Real difficult to remember. Ready? At Philadelphia real estate agent.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. And hey, guys, if you live in a different area besides Philadelphia, you can always send people who are moving there to Steve too. So,
Oh yeah, there's that too.
yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, I didn't even not even
You're
thinking about.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Cassie. Yeah, clearly I'm not too salesy to go with the theme of the podcast.
Oh
But
my
that's
God.
awesome.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. And you guys go find Steve online, and you've a lot to learn from him. I think he can help you retain clients and create some people who want to, love you long time for sure.
Yes,
All right.
make
We'll
sure they're
see.
relational.
Thank you, Steve. And I'll see you all. Make sure you like this. Wait, what is it? Like the episode, subscribe to my podcast. Gosh, it's like I've never done this before, right? So with the I'm Not Salesy podcast, since we're starting again, okay, be sure to leave a review if you really love it so more people can find it, because we're just getting started here again. If you've come over from the Topless Manifester, welcome. But also tell all your friends about it who are in the industry too and want to learn how to make sales in a way that's not salesy. All right. Thank you guys. I'll see you next episode. Bye. If you've ever sat there and looked at your DMs and been like, oh my God, this is literally full of crickets, like there's nothing going on but the rent here. And you're like, oh my gosh, what does it take to actually have an inbox full of people wanting to work with me, having leads coming to me every day, having people saying, send me the link, and really have these results that you see other people having, and you just like think that there's something wrong with you because you're not getting it? If this is you, then listen up. I have the most amazing way to work together. And I feel like this is something that you don't have to experience, right? If you've posted up content every single day for months now and you're still not getting any inbound leads reaching out to you, and you actually want to fill your programs with ideal clients and have people saying, send me the link, and really build your business, but you feel like it should be working right now, then don't throw in the towel. come to Mama Cass. I want to see you filling your programs with dream clients. I want you to feel like you're so completely confident when you're promoting your programs, and that you hear way more of a yes instead of getting ghosted, and you know exactly what to say during your sales conversations. And when you show up, whether it's in the DMs and you're talking to like the crazy amount of people that really want to work with you, or you're on a sales call, I want you to be able to get on the phone and get on sales calls with people who are already pre-sold, saying, how can we get started, without you even having to pitch them. And even when you do have to pitch them and you get to that point in the sales call, it's so easy breezy that it's just like, it's easy as breathing, right? I want you to know that this is possible, because this month I'm starting with a group of experts, a group of coaches and consultants who really want to grow their business. And I'm going to teach you how to turn your coaching business into a sales machine, but one that's actually fun to run, right? Like the Maserati of sales machines, a Porsche, right? So we're going to go way past just giving you trainings and processes to create a steady flow of inbound quality leads. I'm actually going to be practicing scenarios with you so that you know how to close your sales, you know how to develop customer relationships, and you get real-time feedback on your actual DMs so that you start closing sales in the DMs and you start hearing more yes on your sales calls. And I'm even going to give you the tools to clear out the old fears and beliefs and the frustrating emotions that have prevented you from making sales, so that you start stacking money in your bank account. There's nothing else like this online. I expect this first group to fill up really quickly, and I want you to send me a DM on Instagram or on LinkedIn with the word sales. Tell me that you heard this on the podcast, and I will get you the details, because I want to see you wildly successful. I want this ripple effect to really take off. It makes me happier to see your results than to see my own, because it means that this ripple effect is happening, and that the work we do together is going far beyond just the call that we are on, that it's going on to impact your clients and impact the lives surrounded by them as well. This is the vibe. So this is what we're doing in the Sales Queen Takeover. You're going to learn how to attract leads that are aligned with you, that feel great working with. You're going to learn how to do this in a way where you're able to easily close them on the sales calls, easily close in the DMs, so that you can get to work helping the people who need you most, and that you can have an insane amount of impact on the world on a daily basis. So I look forward to seeing you there. I am so excited for this to get started, and I can't wait to hear what you create. If you loved this episode of I'm Not Salesy, then go ahead and hit subscribe so that you're notified of the next episode. And also leave a 5-star rating and a review. And if you send it to the link in the show notes, we will send you a present in return. We also love to feature reviews on the podcast as well. So we'd love to feature yours. So go ahead and send a screenshot to the inbox and come find me on social media. I love hearing what you're up to and how you're becoming not salesy too. I'll see you in the next episode.